we recognize the Honorable Congressman Juan Ponce Enrile Jr. from the 1st District of Cagayan for his privileged speech.
Please proceed. The Honorable Enrile is recognized for his privileged speech.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat. I stand here today on a matter of personal and collective privilege. I have served the 1st District of Cagayan for a full term now, and I am beginning a new term in this 15th Congress. The province of Cagayan is a vast expanse of plains and valleys, bordered by mountains running north to south, both on its eastern and western ramparts. It is crisscrossed by rivers and creeks, the largest of which is the Cagayan River, which originates from the province of Nueva Vizcaya and has a drainage area of about 27,300 square kilometers and a groundwater reserve of around 47,898 million cubic meters. The larger tributaries of the Cagayan River are the Pinakanawan River in Peña Blanca in the southeast, the Dumun River in Gattaran, and the Pared River in Alcala, both in central Cagayan, the Sinundungan River in Lasam, and the Matalag River in Rizal, both in the west. The other rivers in the province are the Chico River in southwest Cagayan at Tuao, the Pata River and Abulog River in the northwest, Bugay River in the north, and the Kabingkungan River in the northeast. These rivers drain the plains and valleys of my beautiful province and provide water for domestic and irrigation purposes as well. Despite being surrounded by bodies of water, the price of fish in Cagayan is high. The best specimens are not sold in the market, but are exported. In fact, fish from adjoining provinces, even Navotas and Manila, are a lot cheaper than the bountiful produce we have in my province. According to BIFAR, as of 2008, Cagayan is the tilapia capital of the Philippines. So why is tilapia more expensive in Cagayan than in Manila? We produce rice, corn, peanuts, beans, and fruits. Livestock products are aplenty. In a province that produces what is needed by its people, why hasn't hunger been solved in our lifetime? And when a people are hungry, can they be expected to focus on anti-poverty measures to increase the money in their pockets? If we are able to provide for our needs, Cagayan can then share the excess with other provinces who are less able to do so. Why are we not helping the poorest of the provinces? Is it not time to rethink our present policies and adopt a new paradigm? As of 2006, per the National Statistics Coordinating Board, Cagayan's poverty incidence is at 23.1%. Cagayan is one of the provinces where the poverty incidence is below the national average of 32.9%. To note, there has been an increase in the annual per capita poverty threshold from 11,683 pesos to 12,501 pesos. As you all very well know, poverty incidence refers to the proportion of families or individuals with a per capita income less than the per capita poverty threshold of the total number of families or individuals. We therefore await eagerly the release of the 2010 census, so as policymakers, we can be guided accordingly. We also hope to see the medium-term development plan laid out. For as stakeholders, we want to know how it affects our respective provinces and districts. The present MTDP is about to end in fiscal year 2010. Added to this, and perhaps more important, is the enunciation of our foreign policy, trade policy, and national security strategies. Some say it will just be the same. I say, let's build on what appears to be the same and pursue, as a policy tenet, food sovereignty. Madam Speaker, my dear colleagues, we Filipinos should determine what we need. We should not be told what to produce. I stand before you today to make a pitch for food sovereignty. Hindi po ba dapat na tayo ay producers muna para sa atin, para sa mga Pilipino, bago tayo mag-export sa labas? Tayo po ba ay consumers lamang ng mga produktong itinatambak sa atin o inaangkat natin, kung kaya't nag-iiba na rin po ang ating pananaw sa pagkain? Nag-iiba na rin ba ang ating agrikultura? Ang sibuyas na pula at bawang na produkto ng Regions 1 and 2 ay hindi makasabay sa presyong inaangkat o itinatambak na sibuyas at bawang galing sa Taiwan. Namamatay po ang ating magsasaka at nabubulok ang ating likhang produkto dahil sa maling patakaran na ito. Pero bumibili pa rin po ang mga mamimili natin dahil mas mura kaysa sa ating sariling produkto. Mas mura ba ang hamburger kaysa organically grown products? Bakit? Ang pulang bigas ba ay mas mahal kaysa sa singtingkad ng labanos na bigas? Karamihan pa ay pinapadala sa ibang bansa dahil ang henerasyon ng mga Pilipino ngayon ay mas gusto ang puting bigas. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, my colleagues, we need a paradigm shift in the way we define our agriculture and trade policies. We need to lead the voices of countries like us in the world on the need to protect our own, since the hegemonies have protected theirs through subsidies and quantitative restrictions. Food sovereignty is the right of peoples, communities, and countries to define their own agriculture, labor, fishing, food, and land policies, which are ecologically, socially, economically, and culturally appropriate to their unique circumstances. It includes the true right to food and to produce food, which means that all people have the right to safe, nutritious, and culturally appropriate food, and to food-producing resources, and the ability to sustain themselves and their societies. Food security, on the other hand, refers to the availability of food and one's access to it. A household is considered food secure when its occupants do not live in hunger or fear of starvation. A Filipino is secure if he has sovereignty. Kung wala kang karapatan magdesisyon, mas wala kang kasiguraduhan sa buhay. Mahirap pong makipag-usap sa taong gutom o dahil sa biglang pagkain ay sumakit ang tiyan dahil hindi na sanay malamanan ng kanin, gulay at isda. Nasanay na lang po tayo sa instant noodles. We cannot promote democracy when Filipinos live in caritons or even insist that they send their children to school hungry, when food is usually shared by a whole family, or when they live in a 5 by 5 meter space called home. Filipinos will have food security if we have food sovereignty. As leaders, let us move towards that direction and not be limited with just securing the wherewithal for now. I therefore ask my colleagues, Madam Speaker, the combined leadership of this House, members of the minority, to join this humble representative in this crusade for a comprehensive framework against poverty and hunger on 7 main points. Point number 1, prioritize agricultural infrastructure support. Kailangan ang malawak na network ng farm-to-market roads sa mga probinsyang agrikultura. Taasan ang investment sa public irrigation facilities at gawing libre ang patubig sa mga magsasaka. Taasan ang investment sa post-harvest facilities para maibaba ang production costs ng mga magsasaka. Magtayo po tayo ng cold storage facilities sa mga major ports ng fishing at agri-based provinces. Akitin natin ang mga pribadong sektor na magtayo ng fruit processing stations sa mga ibang probinsya. Pagtibayin ang research sa food packaging at ituro ito sa mga kooperatiba. Iprioridad ang mangrove protection and rehabilitation sa mga probinsyang balot ng tubig. Point number 2, ensure access to low-interest credit to farmers, fisher folks, and farm workers. Let us push our lending institutions to give this very important sector of our society a real chance to thrive and prosper. When the farming sector falters, so does the rest of the nation. Point 3, remove all subsidies on export-oriented agriculture and transfer the subsidies to grains and vegetable farmers and livestock growers. Point 4, launch an effective and strong campaign against smuggling and dumping of food and agri-based products and commodities that could be supplied by our own local producers. Point 5, reclaim our original strength on agricultural research and scientific breakthroughs. Our core competencies have not changed. We are still an innovative and creative nation we once were. We just need to refocus and re-examine our priorities. Point 6, strengthen the NFA as a straight trading enterprise that protects our farmers and fisher folk and their produce from predatory elements. And lastly, point 7, break all land monopolies as government implements the last phase of land reform and use these lands for our needs. Madam Speaker, my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, the unfunded mandates on agriculture need to be solved. We have the power over the purse. We are representatives of the people. We are elected and our principals are our constituents. Perhaps the appointed officials fail to comprehend why we insist, why we question, why there is dissent and compromise. We do not stand to disagree. We stand to offer alternative options. Let it be said that we are not alter egos of anybody. So, Madam Speaker, my colleagues, let this be a clarion call for fiscal year 2011 to this administration. I will fight for the funding of agriculture mandates. There has got to be a resolution on this issue. We pass laws, and yet the executive does not want to fund the measures passed. Isn't this a failure of representative government? We are collectively responsible for the laws we pass. A bill cannot be law unless signed by the President. Madam Speaker, my colleagues, walang Pilipino ang dapat magutom sa sariling bayan. Siguro naman maintindihan po tayo ng ating mga kaibigan sa ibang bansa. The future of the Philippines is not subject to negotiations. Food for Filipinos, yes. And then, and only then, can we talk of trade. Madam Speaker, my colleagues, the currency war shows each country to his own. Bakit tayo para-parati na lang sa iba? Nananawagan po ako sa ating Pangulo at ang ating mga kalihim ng agrikultura at trade and industry na manindigan naman at manawagan para sa patas na labanan at kompetensya sa larangan ng international trade sa 2 punto. Una, pagbawala ng export subsidies. Mura ang produktong agrikultural ng mga mauunlad na bansa dahil nakakatanggap ang kanilang mga magsasaka ng malalaking subsidies mula sa kanilang pamahalaan. Pangalawa, lumikha ng international regulations hinggil sa mga transnational corporations at intellectual property rights. Dahil na panghahawakan ng mga transnational corporations and intellectual property rights ng mga seed at plant varieties, kumikitid po ang larangan ng pagkilos ng mga magsasaka natin sa developing countries na hindi kayang bilhin ng kanilang teknolohiya. Madam Speaker, my colleagues, allow me to quote Jean-Paul Sartre for our trading partners. When the rich wage war, it is the poor who die. To our leaders, let me leave you with Confucius, who once said, "In a country well governed, poverty is something to be ashamed of. In a country badly governed, wealth is something to be ashamed of." I hope one day, when I look back to this day, 6 December 2010, before my mentors, my colleagues, and friends, I can say that it wasn't too late, and I took that step, made a stand for the Filipinos, so in my lifetime, hunger and poverty could be mitigated. Mabuhay ang Pilipino. Marami pong salamat sa inyong lahat. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we refer the privileged speech of the Honorable Juan Ponce Enrile Jr. To the proper committee.
Are there any objections? The chair hears none. The motion is approved.